Okay, hello everyone, how are you today? It's Kay. So this is the 5th of September and this is on Sunday. So I hope you're having a great Sunday weekend and let's get ready to take trades for next week. So today, every Sundays, I cover the Forex charts and also commodity, gold and oil, and also indices, and also we'll review the news for next week. So yeah, let's get started now. I hope you're having a great weekend. Myself, this is very relaxing weekend today. I have been backtesting my strategies, refining and trying to come up with some new strategies these days. So I was busy backtesting basically today. Okay, so let's start. Let me squeeze my face and start the session now. All right, so before starting here, just a quick disclaimer. This information today is basically based on my own experience knowledge. So when you take trades, please do add in risk. And if you can follow these rules and guidelines on this YouTube channel, that would be great on this live stream. Okay, so yeah, let me quickly say hi to everyone. Arkady, good to see you, and Sorosh, Asif, Muhammad, and Arkady, once again, thank you for joining. And yeah, Hong, Levinas, Orvin, CJ, Jagadish, and Juan, Zach. All right, Bill, and Saberwolf, thank you for joining. Great to see you too. All right, so let's see. So since this is Sunday, this is weekend, every weekend on Mondays, I watch the weekly chart because that's when the weekly candle close, and on next Monday, tomorrow, new weekly candlestick will be showing up. So it's always better to have a bigger picture at some point, and weekend is the best timing to watch the weekly time frame. And in the month end, you watch monthly chart. On the weekend, you watch the weekly chart, and day end and new day, you watch the daily chart, and like this. So let me switch to trading view, and so I will cover all these pairs on my watch list on the right side. So starting from Euro pairs, Euro USD weekly chart, the price is now still in the Kumo, but for the last 2 weeks it's been bullish, and it looks like on the weekly basis the market is retracing back to Kijun Sen. So Kijun Sen will be the target for weekly chart. However, the price is within the Kumo, and especially it's within the thick part of the Kumo. So when you see the market like this, it might be spiky in lower time frames, especially in 1 hour chart or lower time frames. It might go up and down very sharply. So you can follow the uptrend next week on daily or forward chart and target to the Kijun Sen, but it may retrace backwards soon. So yeah, just be careful for the risk management if you want to take trades on this Euro dollar next week. And let's move on to Euro AUD. Let me just delete all these flags so that I avoid confusions. All right, so Euro AUD is also in the Kumo now, and for the last 2 weeks has been bearish. But last week, if you can see here, last week there was a engulfing candlestick breakout. This was engulfing. And it looks like engulfing has been broken downwards, and price is looking backwards to the Kijun Sen. So if you're looking for the sell chance on Euro AUD next week, the initial target will be the Kijun Sen on the weekly chart. And the market might bounce by the Kijun Sen and goes up, or it might break the Kijun Sen and Kumo and may continue to go down this way. But so here also you can follow the downtrend in lower time frames, but the initial target will be Kijun Sen on the weekly chart in this case. So let's move on to the Euro Pound. Euro Pound, the price is below the Kijun Sen and looks like it's been resisted by the Kijun Sen here. So right now Kumo Senko Span B flat and Senko Span A is flat also, and Kijun Sen is now flat, and Chikou Span touching the candles. So looks like market has been resisted by this Kijun Sen, so it may continue to go down this way. So whether the market will break the Kijun Sen or not is key for the next week. If it still be resisted, and I think the market's going to go down continuously, so we can see downtrend on the lower time frames. Otherwise, the market might retrace all the way back to single span A. So in terms of Euro Pound, whether the market breaks Kijun Sen or not is a key on the weekly chart. And so let's move on to the next one, Euro Jpy. Euro Jpy has been bullish for the last 2 weeks, and you can see that the Kumo's flat, Kumo Senko Span A is flat, and Senko Span B is also flat, and Kijun Sen is flat now. And this is a bit more of bearish in terms of weekly chart because we already see Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen dead cross. So the market may continue to go down this way and going back to the Kumo. However, if the market breaks the Kijun Sen, then the market may continue to go up in this direction. And right now, it's in the middle of the retracement, so we can't tell really which way it goes. So I would avoid following the weekly trend because it's a bit too small. Only 2 previous candles have been bullish, and this is not so trustable. So if I see downtrend, if I see lower time frames uptrend, then I follow. But right now on the weekly chart, we can't tell which way it goes. And the next one is Euro CAD. Euro CAD is bearish because you can see that the Kumo Senko Span B flat, but Senko Span A is down. And also Kijun Sen pointing downwards. And last week was doji candle. So in this chart also, whether the market will be resisted by this Kijun Sen or not is a key for next week. If it's going to be resisted by the Kijun Sen, then it will go down this way. And you see downtrend in the lower time frames. But once the market breaks the Kijun Sen upwards, then it might be in the range, or it might gradually goes up to the Kumo. But on either way, I don't think there will be a big uptrend. So if it goes down this way, that will be the chance for sell. But if it goes sideways or uptrend, I don't think that's going to be a great setup for next week. So let's move on to the Euro Swiss franc. Euro Swiss franc last week was very strong bullish. But in the weekly basis, the market is now into the Kumo here. So right now, Kumo's down. This Senko Span A is down, but Kumo itself is a bit too small to be trustable. So from here, it may go down or up, and we can't tell which way it goes. So simply, in the lower time frames, it is uptrending. So we can continue to follow the uptrend on the lower time frames. So moving on to USD pairs. So USD JPY, this is bullish because the Senko Span A has been bullish, and Kijun Sen is also pointing upwards and bullish. So next week, most likely, the market will bounce by this Kijun Sen and goes up this way. So I expect the market goes up next week on lower time frames. If it happens, then you can look for the buy chance and trail the stops as much as possible, as long as it goes. So yeah, so that's USD JPY and USD Swiss franc. This is range. USD Swiss franc on the weekly chart has been range right now. Kumo flat, Kijun Sen is flat, Chikou span touching, and price in the Kumo now. And not only that, on the weekly chart, there are too many wicks pointing up and downwards, and this is not an ideal trending market. So I would avoid looking at this chart next week. And the next one is USD-CAD. This one is also range on the weekly chart. Looks like market is coming back to the Kijun Sen, and it's about to touch Kijun Sen. And afterwards, we don't know which way it's going because this is also range. So I think I will just avoid it on this one too. So let's now move on to pound pairs. So pound dollar, this is also flat ranging on the weekly chart. Kumo flat, Kijun Sen flat, Chikou span is all touching. So this is no trend and no trace. We might see uptrend next week on lower time frames because for the last 2 weeks has been bullish. So once the market breaks the Kijun Sen on the weekly chart, it may continue to go up this way. So we'll see if it happens or not. If it doesn't happen, and if the market goes down this way, then that will be a head and shoulders, and the market may continue to go down this way. So we'll see which way it goes next week. And the next one is Pound Jpy. Pound Jpy is also a bit tricky market because it's range in the weekly chart. And the Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen dead cross happened here. And Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen dead cross above Kumo means that this is the end of uptrend. It's the end of the uptrend, and it doesn't mean that the market goes down from here. And since the market is market has ended the uptrend, we don't know which way it's going. But you can look at the Chikou span here, and Chikou span touched the candles and looks like it's tracing the candles. So as long as it keeps tracing the candles, most likely the market will go along with the previous market. So next week might be a bit bearish, and next week could be also bearish and bullish like this, and the market may go like this by tracing the past candles with the Chikou span. Sometimes it happens, and as long as it traces, you can expect which way it's going in this very short term. So let's move on to the Pound AUD. Pound AUD is this is also a very tricky market. Last 2 weeks was bearish, so we see downtrend and we can follow it, and looks like the target is at the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart. So we can capture some pips to the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart. However, the market is within the Kumo, so it might be spiky. It might be uptrend or downtrend, and we don't know which way it's going. So simply we follow the downtrend in the lower time frames. And the next one is Pound CAD. This one is very tricky, so I avoid because last week was doji. There was no direction, and Kumo's too small and too flat, and everything is flat. Chikou span is also tracing the past candles, and next week is a bearish candle. So in that sense, next week on the actual chart will be also bearish. But even so, these bearish candles are very tiny. So most likely next week also will be a range. So Pound CAD, I would avoid looking at this chart next week. And moving on to Pound Swiss franc. So Pound Swiss franc was interesting because it was uptrending last week. And we do still see uptrend in the lower time frames, but on the weekly chart basis, this is flat Kumo, flat Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen dead cross above the Kumo, meaning that this is the end of the uptrend. Right? So the market lost its direction, and we don't know which way it's going. But looks like the Chikou span has been tracing the previous candles. So next week will be here, and the Chikou span looks to be heading towards the previous candle this way. So in that sense, Pound Swiss franc next week could be bullish, or it might reach to the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart. So if it remains uptrending in the lower time frames, we can follow it, and the target will be at the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart. So now moving on to Aud pairs. So Aud-USD, the market is within the Kumo here. For the last 2 weeks has been bullish, but on the weekly basis, this is range. The price is exactly in the Kumo now, so we can't tell which way it's going. And looks like market is about to touch the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart as it retraces. And once it touches, we might see the market will be ranging afterwards. So in that sense, next week, since there is a very small gap to the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart, we might not gonna see any big trend. And the next one is AUDCAD. This one is also retracing. Last 2 weeks has been bullish, but if you see weekly chart, this is towards bearish side. The Kumo still down, Senko span A is down, and Kijun-sen also pointing downwards. So last 2 weeks was bullish, but it may be resisted, and next week might be bearish. And once you see the market breaks the Kumo, it may continue to go down this way. And also you can look at the forecast lines on this one, because it's been retracing going into the Kumo now. So let me just get these lines here. And so forecast lines, you can draw from the top on the 22nd of February, one of the lines from the top to the Senko span A, and another one to Senko span B, like this. And it looks like the market ended within the forecast lines. So that means from here, it will be range. Most likely, the market will be into the range. So yeah, we can't really tell which way it's going right now. The market may retrace back to Kijun-sen on the weekly chart. So yeah, so that's the AUD-CAD. So let's move on to Aud-Jpy. This one is also retracing backwards. Last 2 weeks was bullish, but this is still below the Kijun-sen. So in that sense, this is range. So in terms of weekly basis, we don't know which way it's going. But once again, we can take the forecast lines here too. So let's see, from the week of 10th of May, you take the top and draw one line to Senko span A at that time, and also another one to Senko span B. And these are the forecast lines, and we have a couple more weeks until the end of the forecast lines. So if the market remains below the forecast lines, the market may continue to go down this way. But looks like last week, the market broke this forecast line upwards. It broke upwards, so looks like the market is now really into the range. So for the last 2 weeks was bullish, but next week we never know. It might lose the uptrend and it may go down this way. So yeah, just make sure that you look at the lower time frames and follow the direction on these lower time frames. So the next one is AUD Swiss franc. This one is also bearish, but the price is now into the Kumo now, and lower time frames are up. So if you look for the buy chance, or if you're holding the buy over the weekend, then the target will be at the Kijun-sen on the weekly chart. Yeah, but on the weekly chart basis, it's range, so we can't tell which way it's going. And moving on to CAD JPY. This one is also retracing backwards, but within the range. It looks like ranges are like everywhere in the market on the weekly chart. And also daily chart, there is not much of trending pairs as Ichimoku. So I think next week could be tricky also. So let's move on to CAD Swiss franc. This one is also retracing for the last 2 weeks and now back into the range. The market reached back to the Kijun-sen. So from here, we don't know which is going. But Chikou span is tracing the past candles, and the next candle from Chikou span will be above the candles above the Chikou span. So next week could be bullish. So we will see which way it's going. Okay, so the next one is Swiss franc JPY. Swiss franc JPY has been ranging for the last couple months here. So no trend and no trace. On the lower time frames, there are no trends either. So we better stay away in this market. All right, so these are the analysis for these my pairs on my watch list. So let's move on to gold. So here is gold XAUUSD, and this is on the weekly chart. So weekly chart gold, the market retraced back to the previous resistance levels, roughly here at 1833.7. The market retraced all the way up to here. But if you see weekly chart basis, the bigger picture shows this is range. Yeah, bigger picture shows this is range. Kumo is flat. Kijun-sen flat, Chikou span is above the candles technically, but this is still within the Kumo. And basically, this is a very tricky market. It's sideways, it's flat. So the point is whether the market breaks the resistance level or not. If it breaks 1833.7, then it may continue to go up. And that's exactly where I look for the buy chance also, because most likely on the lower time frames, it will be bullish. But it may be resisted and retraces backwards. If that's the case, I won't sell because it may be in the range still. So I'm waiting for the market to break 1833.7 and look for a buy chance next week. So we'll see on that. And the next one is WTI, crude oil, and on the weekly chart, this is also a bit range. Kumo flat, Kijun Sen flat now, so it's range. But last week was doji, and from here it may go up continuously and reach all the way up to 76.96. So now let's move on to index. Index was also very interesting. Like some indices were uptrending or downtrending or range. So by using Ichimoku, you can specifically identify whether it's uptrending, downtrending, range. So let's look at them on the weekly chart. So here is Nikkei 225, and last week was a strong bullish trend. And it broke the previous descending trend line. And this might be the sign of uptrend. So we'll see if it remains go up or not. And the next one is, this is Dow Jones. Dow Jones has been ranging for the last 4 weeks. But if you see the Ichimoku lines, you can see that the Senko span is up. And Kijun Sen is also up. Chikou span above the candles. And price above Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen, Kumo. So this is bullish, and the market looks like the market is about to break the previous resistance level and continue to go bullish next week. So, and looks like US indices are very strong continuously. So here is Nasdaq. Yeah, Nasdaq weekly chart keeps renewing higher and higher every week. So Kumo up, Kijun Sen up, everything's up, price above the Tenkan Sen, and it shows strong and continuous uptrend. So looks like the market is heading towards the next run number of 16,000. And the next one is S&P 500. This one is also keeps going up strongly and stably. The price has been supported by this Tenkan Sen and keeps going up this way. So most likely next week will be also bullish, and the market is heading towards the next run number of 4,600. And the Euro 50 is also bullish. The previous 4 months has been range, but Ichimoku tells that this is up because the Kumo's up, Senko span is up, and Kijun Sen is up, and the Chikou span above the candles. So I think this is a nice and stable bullish. So, and also looks like market has been bouncing by this Tenkan Sen. So it may retrace back to Tenkan Sen, but be supported by Tenkan Sen and goes up continuously in this direction. So the next one will be FTSE 100. FTSE 100 has been ranging for the last 4 weeks also. But I can see that there are more buyers and sellers in the range because the Kumo is up and Kijun Sen is also up and the Chikou span above the candles. So I think this is bullish. The market is about to break the previous resistance level and remains uptrend, looks like. So this breakout may happen next week or sometime within this month. So next one is CAC France. This one is also bullish. Last 2 weeks has been range, 2 consecutive doji candles, and 3 weeks back was long bearish candlestick. But so in this case, this is actually one of my favorite setups, is that the you can draw the horizontal lines on this bearish candlestick like this. And so this is engulfing. This is called engulfing and inside bars. Two inside bars within this long bearish candle. So two consecutive doji candles, once it breaks, it tends to go up this way. And also once the market breaks this engulfing candle, it also tends to go up in this direction too. So basically, we better wait for the market to break the previous highest resistance level and then look for the buy chance afterwards. And it looks like that may happen because once again, Kumo's up and Kijun Sen is up and Chikou span above the candles. So yeah, I can see potential and continuous bullish on CAC fronts. Next one is Dax Index. Dax Index also bullish. Kumo's up, Kijun Sen up, and Chikou span above the candles. So for last 4 weeks, it's been range, but I can see that there are more buyers and sellers on this range market, and it's about to break the previous resistance as well as the run number of 16,000. Okay, the next one is Nifty 50. No doubt this one is bullish continuously. I have been saying that the market has been bullish, so simply you trail the profits or you basically hold. Buy and hold is what you can do on this market. The market has been above the Tenkan Sen and it's showing a strong and stable bullish. So the next one is AU200. Looks like AU200 became range now. The Kumo is flat, Kijun Sen flat, Tenkan Sen flat. So it's range. For the last 4 weeks, it's been ranging. And since Kijun Sen is flat on this index, the market may retrace all the way back to Kijun Sen. So still, the market has been above the Tenkan Sen. So as long as the market is above the Tenkan Sen, it may break upwards continuously. But once we see the breakout of the Tenkan Sen next week, then it may retrace all the way back to Kijun Sen. So the next one is Hansen Index. Hansen is bearish. This is bearish because the Kijun Sen is down and the market has been downtrending so far. And this is also engulfing candle, engulfing structure. And once the market breaks the previous support, it may continue to go down this way. But the Kumo is a bit too tiny, too trustable. So in that sense, next week or next week could be range in the P wave. And once we see a stable, bigger and more thicker bearish Kumo, then it may start to go down this way. Yeah, so that's the Hansen Index. Yeah, so that covers the whole indices for next week on the weekly chart basis. And let's cover the news for next week. We have a couple of big news next week, especially Euro and also USD. Sorry, not USD, Canada. Euro and Canada, we have big news next week. So let's look at it one by one. Monday, we have no news. And I think on US and Canada, yeah, it says here, US and Canada, Labor Day. So on Monday, it may be quiet on the New York session. Well, usually Monday is quiet. So yeah, we might see inactive market tomorrow, next Monday. And moving on to Tuesday, we have rate decision in Australia. So AUD could be affected by this, but most likely interest rate won't change for this announcement. And if that's the case, it might not gonna impact so much. And also Tuesday 7th, there will be a GDP report in Euro, so it can affect the market, Euro. And moving on to Wednesday morning in Asian time, there will be a GDP report in Japan, so it might affect JPY pairs. And also in Canada, there will be rate statement, interest rate decision in Canada. So it might impact the Canadian dollars on Wednesday. And moving on to Thursday, we have a rate decision and monetary policy meeting in Euro. So this is one of the biggest events next week on Thursday, September 9th. We have to be careful on Euro pairs. And also, later part, there will be a governor's speech in BOC. So Canadian dollars could be affected by this. And then finally, Friday, we have a CPI in Germany. So Euro pairs could be affected by this. And also, towards the end of Friday, there will be a unemployment rate in Canada. So if they turn out to be negative, then Canadian dollars will be sold. So you have to be careful on this one. And finally, on Friday, there will be monetary policy meeting in BOE. So pound could be affected by this. Yeah, so these are the major news. So to highlight, next week we have to be careful on Euro monetary policy meeting, and also rate decision, and also unemployment rate in Canada, and also lastly this one, BOE's policy meeting and pound. So these are some major news for next week, and I don't really look at these minor ones. I don't look at orange, I don't look at these yellow. I only pay attention to these red ones, especially the ones that can impact the markets. So every Sundays, I give these highlights also. Okay, so that covers the whole view about the market for next week for myself. So for the next 20 minutes or so, let's have a free talk. Okay, so once again, thank you for joining, everyone. It's very nice to see you, as always, on this relaxing Sunday. So yeah, let's see. Let me come back to some comments now. Thank you for joining, everyone. Great to see you here. So yeah, let's see. Kale says, sir, if you're using the overlap of Chikou span with candlestick patterns to trade, this signal will work the best with daily time frame, right? Yes, I recommend you to use daily chart for any Ichimoku strategies. I got this question many times actually, so let me reply to this. But Ichimoku was originally created to analyze a daily chart and also weekly chart. So, and based on my experience and backtesting, Ichimoku works the best on the daily chart or weekly chart. So if you are still not familiar with Ichimoku, then you better use daily chart for your analysis. So time cycles and price theory also works on the daily chart or weekly chart, and also forecast lines will also work on daily or weekly charts or monthly chart even. So yeah, in terms of the question about the overlap of Chikou span with candlestick patterns, you better use the daily chart. And once you get used to it, you can go down to the lower time frames to use Ichimoku. But even so, I don't recommend you to use Ichimoku Kinko Hyo in 15-minute chart or the lower time frames. This is actually based on my experience also, but if you use it on 2 low time frames below 15-minute chart, because lower time frames are a bit spiky, so sometimes it doesn't respect the time cycles, it doesn't respect the Kihon Suchi numbers, and it doesn't really respect the Tenkan-sen or Kijun-sen crossovers or Kumo breakouts. Last year, I was actually using a part of Ichimoku strategies on lower time frames, but this year, not anymore, because I've seen many fake outs, fake signals, so I decided not to use Ichimoku anymore at all on these lower time frames. But instead, I stick to candlesticks, patterns, and also lines, price actions, and some other strategies on lower time frames. So like whenever you count time cycles, the weekly chart works very good too, and also daily chart is also very good to capture time cycles. Yeah, so that is my advice here. So, but yeah, so this is my experience. Of course, you may be able to apply Ichimoku in lower time frames, and if it works, then you can keep using it. But for myself, I prefer to use it in higher time frames. Okay, so let's see. Muhammad says, can you check Ndd-Usd? It looks like a nice bullish trend in the forward chart. All right, let's see. It will be, let's see, Ndd-Usd, right? So let's see. Quickly looking at the Ndd-Usd, and first of all, in the daily chart, the market broke the Kumo, and this is a nice breakout. It may continue to go up this way, but the Kumo is very thin, so it may retrace along the way. It may retrace backwards, and it may continue to go up in this direction. And with that in mind, I will look at the forward chart. And yes, in the forward chart, it is stably bullish. The market has been above the Tenkan-sen, and it's going upwards. So this is a stable and nice uptrend. Yeah, personally, I don't trade New Zealand pairs, but I would say that this is a good uptrend. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Zio says, where do you get the news from? This calendar is from a fxstreet.com. This is my favorite website, fxstreet.com. All right. You're welcome, everyone. Thank you for the comments. All right, let's see. Fan says, can you analyze DXY chart on TradingView? Yes, we can. I have DXY on my watch list also. It's index and DXY. So yeah, DXY has been bearish. Weekly chart is in the range, and this is called Y wave in the range, and no trend right now, no trend. And on the daily chart, it's retracing all the way back to the Kumo, and this part is a very thick part of the Kumo. So it may retrace backwards from here because I can draw the trend line. Like there is a trend line that I can draw like this way. So it may bounce and may go up afterwards. Like this. And it may bounce and goes up like this way. So we'll see which way it goes. In terms of Ichimoku lines, you see the trace of the Chikou span here too. So looks like next week will be a 2 consecutive doji candles. So it may remain flat for next 2 weeks, and from the third week it may go up this way. This is about the Chikou span trace strategy. So that's the possible scenario on DXY at the moment. Orvin says, hi Kay, what are some of the refinements you are trying on your strategy? So when I backtest, I look for the similar markets in the past. I pick the pairs on my watch list over here on the right side, and I run the Forex Tester and pick random chart in the past that is similar to the current situation and doing backtesting. So I use Bollinger Band stochastics, but these entry chance, entry timings and exit timings, I minor change. Sometimes I exit earlier than usual so that I can secure the profits as much as possible when it's very tricky in the lower time frames. So let's say when the market retraces So far, I exit when I see reverse N wave, for example. But instead of exiting the chart at the reverse N wave, I would switch it and I will look for quicker exit timing. And then I backtest. I keep trading with that strategy only and see if the result will be better or not. And if the result will be better, then I will test it on the real chart. I will test it on my testing account and see if it works for the next 1 month or 2 months. And if it works for the next 1 or 2 months, then I use the strategy in my real account and then see how it goes, like this. So while I take trades, I take trades, every week, and I have my strategy. But on the other side, I'm very flexible in terms of how to change the strategies. So, and these are only minor changes. I don't change the whole thing. I keep using Ichimoku, and I keep using my major strategies. But in terms of entries and exits, I kind of minor change so that I can adapt these changing market in the future. So my strategy works. So far, my strategy has been working, and that's why I use my strategy. But we never know. Maybe next week or next month, it might not gonna work. And if that's the case, I have to change myself by backtesting it, and also by looking back my own previous trades, and only look into these losing trades, and I look for the losing patterns, and I refine these losing patterns by backtesting it and apply on these real moving markets like this. So it's like step by step, I change the strategies so that I can keep trading every week or every month with the stability here. So I don't believe any strategy will work in a long run. So and because I am a day to swing trader or intraday to day to swing trader myself, I take trades every week or almost every day. I do it, and when I do it, market changes, and so when the market changes and when there is no trend, for example, I don't take trades because I only follow the trend direction. But let's say if there will be no trends for the whole month, which is kind of unbelievable, but let's say it happens in the Forex pairs, and then I have to change my strategy. I can't use my strategy anymore because it's been ranging. So I have to change my strategy and apply on the future markets. So so that means I don't keep my strategy the same, because if you look back my lives from last week and from last year and this year, you might find the difference. You might see the difference in terms of my strategy. So like this, I kind of minor change my strategies, and to look for this more effective strategies in this real market, I backtest and fine-tune my strategies. So, so this is my definition of backtest. I don't change the whole thing, but I minor change to adapt these changing markets over time. Is what I mean by backtesting. All right. Yeah, Kel, you're welcome here. You're welcome. Let's see. Milos says, Mr. K, have you been able to try fractals and alligator when trying to have a trading edge on entry time frames? No, I haven't tried fractals and alligator. No, I haven't. I used to use alligator, but not anymore. Yeah, I have to take time to find the edge by these indicators. All right. Bihaval says, why do you watch only selected currencies? These are the major and minor pairs. And yeah, so these are the pairs on my watch list. And the reason why I picked these pairs are because these are stable, and also the spread tends to tighter on my broker, and that's why I watch these pairs. But these days, Swiss franc pairs have been very tricky, so I might take out Swiss franc pairs near future. For now, I just keep them. And it says, Kay, have you a favorite candlestick pattern? Mine is pin bar and engulfing patterns, lesser the harami patterns and stars. Yes, my favorites are engulfing and pin bar and doji breakouts. These are my 3 favorite patterns on any time frames. It works pretty much good. All right, thank you for joining, everyone. Great to see you here once again on this relaxing Sunday. Okay, Objective says, sir, if bull run is about to end and the market correction can happen, how will Ichimoku behave? Ichimoku Kumo Kijun Sen will be flat, and you will see Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen, dead cross next, and then Chikou span breakout happens next, and then eventually you will see Kumo breakout. These are the steps for the retracement by Ichimoku. Tuwevery says, how did you get the motivation to backtest, because I have lost this motivation for backtesting? Backtesting is very fun. You have to have fun with backtesting. I think that's why I keep motivation. And backtesting is creative, right? If you think about it, you can move charts forward, backward, and you can see multiple time frames in the previous charts. So, and it's not a real chart. It's not the real moving chart, so it saves a lot of time. And also, you can expect the result in a very short term. And that's why I have motivation in backtesting. And when I find a refinement will be successful, then I get excited to apply on the real moving market. And that's where my motivation comes in backtesting. Soros says, if there's no weekly trend, would you still look 5 times a day a chart to find opportunities? Yes. Even if there is no trend in the market, I look at the chart 3 times to 5 times per day. Because sometimes we may see market trends suddenly on that day. So always watch out. But it doesn't mean that you take trades every day or every time you screen charts. Let's see. Carol says, sir, how do you evaluate between trading one big order in one transaction and dividing one order into many small orders to be able to trade profits gradually for sell safe profits? I think that is a good strategy. Yeah, you can take multiple positions at the same level and trade with the different positions. And basically that's what I do. So in that way, your performance gets higher. I mean, profit factor gets better, and also drawdown will be less, and your win rate also increases in that way. All right, let's see. Okay, Orvin says, thanks for the detailed reply, Kay. Great insights on discipline and continuous improvements. Yes, Kaizen. Yeah, that's true. That's called Kaizen in Japanese. Yeah, Dubai is such a nice place. I like it so much here now. Yep. Kaysen, for testing account, we have real account or demo account. It's a real account. Real testing account, I do. Yeah, now I don't try a demo account because yeah, I think it's better to have real, for sure, to be more serious in the markets. Gallant says, what do you think about the pound JPY? Pound JPY on the weekly chart is now, hold on, let's see, pound JPY is here, it's retracing, ranging. So yeah, last 2 weeks has been bullish, and the Kumo flat, Kijun-sen flat, and Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen did cross happens. So this means that this is the end of the uptrend. So right now we don't know which way it's going. Looks like this is bearish, so it may go down for the next few weeks. Okay, Sunil, your view on Nifty. Yes, Nifty has been bullish. You can watch Nifty analysis of mine because I did it in the past on this live stream. But quickly, Nifty weekly chart has been bullish, and yeah, looks like it's heading towards the next run number of 18,000. This is strong and stable bullish. Tanha says, can you analyze USD-CAD forward chart? Yeah, let's see. USD-CAD, the forward chart. Let's see here. In the forward chart, this is flat now. It's retracing backwards. Kumo flat, Kijun-sen flat, and also we have there are engulfing candles inside bars. So, and the price is at the previous support. So we better wait for the market to break the support at around 1.2489 and look for the sell chance afterwards. Better wait for the support breakout and look for the sell chance. Okay, so I'm about to end the session in about 5 minutes. All right, yeah, you're welcome everyone, you're welcome here. Locke says, I find backtesting a bit too fun. Okay. Yeah, backtesting is fun. It's fun, really. Because when you sit down and looking for opportunities on the real moving market, it's very slow. So, so that you can use the Forex Tester and backtest strategy. I have a detailed explanation on my website. If you are new to my channel, you can click on this Forex Tester 5 and you can access to my website where I introduced all the details about the Forex Tester 5, and you can get the coupon code on this website. So if you are interested on this backtesting tool, please visit this website and get the coupon to get discount. No, Forex Tester is only for backtesting, and you cannot run it on the real moving market, and you can't take trades on the real moving market. This is only for backtesting. You can only take trades on the previous charts. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Euro dollar is now flat right now. I can't tell which way it goes. So basically, look at the lower time frames to follow. In the forward chart, it looks like it is up. So I think it may go up continuously. But the price is now near the previous resistance level at 1.1907. So it may retrace backwards to Kijun-sen from here. So we'll see which way it goes. And I don't know about this memo, so let me just delete this one. Yeah, so it may retrace back to the Kijun Sen in the forward chart as a short term, but in the long term, once it breaks the resistance level, it may remain uptrend afterwards. Is my view. Okay. Yeah, thank you for joining everyone. Great to see you once again. I do see many comments now. I will be ending the live in about 4 minutes. UCAD daily chart. Let's see, USD-CAD. In terms of the daily chart, the price is now back into the Kumo. And it may be a tricky market in lower time frames. In this forward chart, it's bearish, but the Kumo flat, Kijun Sen flat, so it may retrace back to the Kijun Sen in the forward chart. Because there is a support level here at 1.2478. It may retrace backwards to Kijun Sen or maybe Tenkan Sen, and it may be range or continue to go down this way. So simply, I would wait until the Kumo Kijun Sen point down and look for the sell chance next week. So always capture the trend direction and just follow that direction. That will be an most effective way to run profits. We never go against the wind, or we don't ride on the boat where there is no wind, but you only ride on the boat when you see the wind coming from the back. That's when your trade becomes more effective or efficient in terms of time. Yeah, go with the flow is the key, as always. Ogbu says, can I come over to Dubai so I can learn more and we could share strategies together? Sure, or you don't have to come to Dubai. Of course, when you do, you can let me know. But yeah, I have teachings here on my GTS. So you're always welcome to the GTS Global Trading School, which is starting in October very soon. So there is 2 seats. Oh, now there is only 1 seat available. So yeah, you can always join. You can see details on the below description. So this is where I teach my full strategies in terms of entries and exits and risk management and psychological management, and also one-on-one sessions every month and meetups every week up to 5 members. And this is a very extensive knowledge or strategies I use. I think, yeah, so this is, it's been for 1 year so far since I did the GTS, started the GTS program, and every month or every 3 months I do this and I refine, just like my trading strategies, I also refine my services as it goes on. So it will never be the same. Every 3 months it becomes better and better. Okay, so looks like I have to go, so I will be ending the live stream for now. But once again, thank you for joining everyone. And I hope we have a great rest of the weekend, and charge yourself and get ready to take trades next week. So always watch out for the news, especially when the news is big. Just watch out and make sure you don't take trades before the news, but always come back afterwards and look for opportunities. All right, so once again, thank you for joining, and I will see you in the next one. And until then, please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay gold. All right? Mata ne. Thank you. I say mata ne, and that means see you in Japanese. So I say mata ne.